Hey everyone, it is time once again to make some progress with Damon Claw, and recently Corey and I started playing the original inspiration for the gameplay of this game, which was an old 8-bit Sega Master System game generically called Black Belt in the West. And there's a level in that game that also has falcons that attack you. And in that game, the falcons swoop down at you. And it just so happens, coincidentally, I was recently letting my son play this bird-themed level of Damon Claw. And at some point he said, "Oh, this level's pretty easy. You could just keep walking and then jump over the birdmen." And that was in large part because a lot of the falcons, the way I have the level currently laid out, would just fly right on by without doing anything. So as long as you don't jump up into them, there's no problem. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot we have sub-bosses now that we added last time. There we go. Controlling with the keyboard this time. But as you can see, that falcon is only useful if you need energy, or if you're jumping up to get something, then you can get hit by it. So it really made it clear that I should add the same kind of swooping attack behavior to the falcons for this level. So that is the single goal for this particular video. And with me, as always, is Corey. Say hi, Corey.
Hey, how's it going?
And before we get started, I should say Corey made a very nice 2-frame animation for the falcon. So I added a new animation called Falcon Dive, and you can see it's a cool 2-frame animation that will loop very quickly back and forth to create a nice feeling of movement and the sort of wind resistance on the feathers. So that was the first step. And then what I think I'm going to need, and I still don't know exactly how I'm going to pull off that. I have a general idea how I'm going to pull off making this work, this behavior. So I think I'm going to need a new instance variable.
Do you think that they all need to dive, or do you think only some of them? I mean,
that's a good question. I can actually make a slight bit of AI so that if the falcon is already low enough that it's going to hit the player anyway, that's what I was planning on doing. If the falcon wouldn't need to dive to hit the player, then it'll just keep going straight. But if it's those high up falcons, they'll actually dive low enough to actually be a threat to the player.
Okay, yeah.
And the height at which they dive, I'm thinking actually making that based on their actual distance from the player's head. So it'll actually be adaptive. So we can put the falcons anywhere, but they'll always dive low enough to actually be attacking the player.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so we're going to call this variable pre-dive height, because I think I want the falcon to end up back at its original height once it's done with its dive.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to use that number to set that up. All right, so let's start working our way through. Oh, I should actually, while I'm in this frame, we're going to need a new behavior. So we currently have, oh, that's really interesting. There's already a vertical sine wave behavior. We could actually hijack that for the dive. I'm debating in my head right now. It would actually be easier to just add another sine behavior, which this technically would be considered sloppy if we were programming on a real retro system, having an additional behavior with this other sine wave math going on at the same time. But we can afford to be quite sloppy on modern platforms, and it's just going to keep things a lot simpler. I can just pause the little up and down sine wave, do the big thing, and then when it's done, unpause. So I think it's so much tidier and easier. I think I'll just be lazy and do it the tidy, easy way, since we don't have to worry at all about performance hits from this tiny little addition. All right, so sine wave and vertical. And in general, I know we want this to be very quick. The entire thing certainly should only be like a second, I think. And then magnitude, we'll leave at 50 for now. That would be 50 pixels. All right, that's good. So now we need to go into specifically the level 1 events, because that's the only level with the Birdman as a bird. And the owls don't need to really dive at you, at least right now, because, or some of them might, the ones without the bombs, but obviously the ones that are carrying the bomb and that drop it down at you, they won't need to dive.
Right, exactly.
We want gameplay events. Oh no, we don't want gameplay events. Stupid me. This is level 1. Okay. I forgot there's one other thing that I need to add, or I think I should add, and that is, yeah, I forgot a couple of things here. Active on start, the second sign should definitely be no. So that's one important thing. Oops. That was sign 1. That should be active. Sign 2 should be no. And then the other thing is another instance variable, which we can call dove. It looks like dove. Is there a different way to spell dove, or is that one of those crazy words that...
I think that is the word.
That's funny. All right, initial value 0. Okay, because we only want them to do this behavior once and to no longer keep calculating should I dive if it already dove once.
Yeah.
So, and now we need to go back into level 1 events, and then, so let's start simply here. So we're going to compare flying enemies variable dove, not dove, equal to 0. Add another condition. We just need to check its X position. Equal to, no, we don't want equal to, we want, this will be for the falcon that's coming from, we'll do this from the right, since most of them theoretically would be coming from the right, at least to a small degree. Yeah. So, or that's the sort of default. So, less than or equal to, and we're going to need the player's X position, so player box, X. So there he is, and then we're going to say plus the whole screen's width is less, it's like roughly 300 pixels, I think, the actual playable area of the screen. It's like 256
it's like, yeah, it's like
it's in the high twos, yeah.
Yeah, like 280 or something like that, I think. So it'd be like 140 would be about half. And
yeah. So we'll try like 140. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, so the coordinate of the falcon, the further to the right-hand side of the screen, the higher the number.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this would be, it's now within 140 pixel range of the player. So that should work. So then if that happens, what we're going to do, so we'll do the most basic version. Oh, the other thing we really need to do is add another condition. And we could see that by default it's actually facing to the right. We want it, oh, I misspoke. Flying from the right to the left is the default as far as enemies coming at you.
Right.
So that's what this logic is for. So let's get, this will have to be mirrored. If it's mirrored and this is all true, then we want to make it dive. Flying enemy, the set value dove to
dive.
1. Yeah, exactly. All right. And then we're also going to activate the diving sine wave, and we're going to deactivate the other one. This, like the standard subtle up and down movement.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're doing that, and then the other thing, that other variable I set.
So you would set it inactive like immediately, but it'll carry it through. Is that the way it works?
No, well, keep in mind there's two sign behaviors. One is the graceful up and down
you're setting
movement.
The original one inactive. Okay,
inactive, exactly. Or at least I hope I am. I'll check that in a second. But yeah, sign 1 or just sign is the normal graceful up and down movement that's very subtle.
Right.
And then sign 2 is the big dive, or it's going to be. So pre-dive height is going to be its current y coordinate. So where is flying enemy? Yep.
Sounds like some uppity nightclub or something. Pre-dive height.
Yeah, that sounds good actually. Yeah. All right, done. So now we're setting that variable dove to 1, and then pre-dive height, we're setting that to the current height, and then we're making inactive the little subtle up-down movement, and then we're making the big swooping movement of it's only 50 pixels right now, but eventually we're going to do a formula to calculate the height. But first I just want to get it to work at all, and then we can go from there and start to improve things. And then in this case, right, for now we're just letting its standard bullet movement keep it moving forward, so it's not going to increase yet its horizontal speed. But I might add that later so that when it dives, it actually gains some horizontal speed as well as swooping down. But that'll come later. But for now, we might as well do this, invert, and make this greater than, and then make this minus 140.
Okay.
And everything else is good. So now all of the Falcons in level 1, they should do this new behavior, which is going to be quite dramatic, and they're just going to do a 50 pixel sine movement. They're not going to dive once and then go back to their normal height. They're just going to switch to a much more drastic sine movement. So let's actually test.
Yeah,
if that's the case. Oh, actually,
they'll just make level 1 about 10 times harder. So
yeah, like those, like those infernal Medusa heads in Castlevania when you're jumping over deadly falls. So yeah, we'll get more bird enemies back and get rid of the guy moved. That boss would have slowed us down every time I went to test. So I just moved those bosses further back so that we can test the bird behavior more immediately.
Alright.
Here come the birds. And he did nothing. That's interesting. Let's see if all the birds will do nothing. Yeah, they're not.
They're not responding.
They're not doing anything at all. Oh, look at that. We've got vector X instead of his X position. So that's something you always have to be careful for. If something has a platform movement, then it's got vector X and vector Y. And if you're not paying attention and or are very tired, it's easy to select that instead. So that should fix that. All right, fix it down here too. And then switch that back to minus. Hopefully some viewers were shouting at me that are watching this video, like, you dummy, you're using vector X. That's not the first time I did that in these videos either. All right. Oops, I'm running the wrong frame. Is this the sprite? Please be the spriter frame. It's been so long. Yes! All right. Welcome back, old friend. Okay, so... All right.
Perfect.
Yep, it did it, that's for sure.
Yep. Looks like
Yep, but it's happening like as soon as it's on screen, which is
we'll have to have a little delay on it.
Tweak that number down to like, we'll do 100 for now. All right. Let's try that again. Oh, same issue. Let's see here. There, okay.
They're still pretty far away when they do it.
Yep, I'm going to make it 80 for now. If we can get it to look nice and play well with this distance, I think that'll be good. And obviously we can expand it back to 90 or 100 if we need to. Alright, so now let's do... And it did immediately start going down, right? That was the initial angle. That's fantastic. Okay, so now what we can do is do flying. So we've got a new event going, and it's going to be comparing dove to 1. And we're going to compare its y coordinate is lower or equal, less or equal, to that value we had set, which was its pre-dive height. So this is what makes it stop the sine wave once it gets back to its original height. And flying and pre-dive height. So now what we can do, I'm just going to copy both of these. Oh yeah, the other thing we haven't done yet is switch the animation. So that'll be nice. I forgot about that. So we're going to set this to inactive and this back to active. Okay, and then so let's get in the animation change. Flying, set animation. I'm pretty sure it was Falcon. Dive, or I don't remember. Darn it. I shouldn't code while.
Oh, the animation name.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember what you called it.
Double check that, but this one is just called Falcon. Of that, I'm quite certain. Like the standard. But so let's go back to the spriter thing. All right, so double click, Falcon dive. Okay, excellent.
Cool.
And then choose level 1 again, so I don't accidentally run the spriter frame again. Falcon dive. Okay, these should be good, and it should now go back to its original behavior after the initial dive. So that's great, and now the animation should switch. So yeah, we're making good progress, despite the fatigue. Huh, that was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Wow.
What? I'm confused. That one's going so slow I can...
They were triggering.
Oh, I see. Okay. This is happening immediately. As soon as dive becomes 1, or a dove becomes 1, then before the sine wave even begins to move, then this is also true. So we're immediately switching it back to its normal behavior.
Right.
So what we need to do is we can check, and this I don't understand very well, so this might take a couple tries to get right, but no, we want flying enemy, and if we compare its sine 2 to period greater than, is this in percentile? No, it's in seconds. So 0. We'll say 3. So that's like a third of the way through the movement. So that way it's definitely going to have gone below. So it won't be true until it comes back up, I think. So let's test. That bird didn't do anything again. Okay, we paused it for a while to do some research and figure out what the problem was, and eventually I realized what it probably was, and it blew my mind. So it wasn't a logical error, it was just a bit of silliness, so let me show you what I'm talking about here. So as you saw here, if I go replace condition and I redo the same exact thing, if I'm trying to get that critically important property, that value, literally it's called value, from the flying object's sine wave 2 behavior, it's not here. So we have period, which reads exactly like the current period of the oscillation. Not the current oscillation period threshold or whatever. The current period of the oscillation makes it sound exactly like that's what I want. But that's not what I want, and I have no access to it directly, even though there was a perfect spot right here to put it, which is, that's irksome. So, I wasted a bit of our time and energy. So what we need to do is, in a roundabout way, gain access to this additional information. So what we need to do is replace condition and go into system and compare two values. And now under first value, if we go into flying and go into its sine 2, you'll see suddenly there's that missing fourth thing that is critically important that there was room for in the other place. Oh, it's sine 2, which is value, which is the current oscillating value. That's what we needed. And then so this, again, this can be greater than 0.5 should work fine. We'll do 0.4. So now this should theoretically work. So let's test that again. So now it should dive down once. Oh yeah, that was a test thing that no one in the video saw me add. There you go. Oh, but it didn't turn off. Okay, but we're closer now. We just need to figure out why it didn't stop like we expected it to. There we go. And now we can tell we actually have more room to play with than we thought. So we can expand this 80 to be at least 90, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even 100. But more importantly, flying enemy, assign to value is greater than 0.4. Interesting. Why isn't this working?
Yeah, we may have to see what those values really
Yeah, that's a good point. Now we know how to do that. Which is what I tried to do with this. I made a new sprite to see if I started from scratch with something with no events or behaviors or families that could be affecting that value, just to make sure that that value called period was not what we thought and always stayed at that 1, which it does. So, but anyway, it's still not turning off. Okay, so exactly like Corey said, we need to go here. We might as well delete this from the project as well. I'll do that later. But we'll go in here, and then we're going to set this again to be and then we need to flying value sign 2. Oh, did I maybe accidentally do... Nope, sign 2 value. Okay, that's correct. Let's see what these numbers have to say. Imagine if it was like 1 to 100 instead of...
Yeah, it could be, or something like that.
We'll know in a second. Whoa!
Whoa! Yeah, it's probably 100, because it looks like the decimal...
I can't even see the decimal.
It gets up to about 73 point, whatever.
I'll be damned. And look at that. It's a negative...
So I think it might be a pixel height.
You're right. I did set it to 80. I'll be damned. Okay, yeah, so none of this stuff behaved exactly like I thought it did. So that's what's causing the logical problem. So we're going to say... So when it's moving back...
So is that the number you could... I'm gonna yeah,
I'm gonna slow it way down. I'm gonna slow it way down, so that we could really get a grasp of exactly what the number looks like when we want it to take effect.
Yeah.
So, period of 1, we're gonna make it take 5 seconds. Then again, it'll be off screen by that point. So I also need to get a hold of this, and where's that value? Speed. So we're going to make it another really slow bird.
Right.
Let's see. We'll do 8 arbitrary numbers. I'm not sure if this is what we need, but we'll soon see.
So you can feel extra terrible taking him out.
Yeah. Oh. Here he comes.
Oh.
Okay, so it's basically going to be... It's going to hit 0 when he's back at his normal speed.
Yeah, because I think 0 is his starting point, and then it's...
Negative numbers for up. Okay. So obviously when you're programming, it's always really important to understand what the functions actually do and how they behave before you try to control them and retrieve data from them. Let's see here. So we want this to be greater than... You see, that's the problem. It's going to be 0 when this starts. It's the same kind of issue.
Right.
It's maddening.
But he starts going down, right? So he'll go below 0 first.
No, that greater than. The number will be greater. To go downward, it's greater.
Right.
So it'll go all the way to 80. So that's the annoying thing, is that...
So I guess you would just need less then, right? I mean, if you just changed it to less than 0. Because he doesn't start less than 0.
Oh, that's true. All right, that'll be good enough. Yeah, that'll
be
definitely less than. Yep, great point. Less than 0. Okay, well, let's make him less slow now. Now that we understand how he works, so that's for the horizontal 120, and oh yeah, I have to go into the spriter for this, and we'll make that 1 second again here. Okay. Nice. All right, so let's see the next bird and see. Oh! Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it? Only the first. Oh, he did it.
Oh, what?
That doesn't make any sense.
Whoa, yeah.
Why would very select? He did it? It's almost like if there's more than one on screen, the other one, or still in existence, the other one won't do it.
Oh, but that one didn't. That
Yeah.
one was alone. Do you think it needs to have like? Don't you have like a for each?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
sort of
I think
thing?
I should, to be safe, put these in for each loops. So, add another condition. Okay. Loops for each. Flying. So theoretically, what this is going to do is it's going to make sure that all three of these things are true for that one particular thing.
Right.
And that at the same token, all of these things should be affecting only that one particular one. So hopefully this fixed it. Am I in the Spriter level? I don't remember. I don't think so. No, okay. First bird will work. Beautiful. Okay. Second bird works. That's a good sign.
Nice.
Third. Okay. Nice.
They're all working.
All right. So.
Oh, the ones from the left aren't working though. Which is interesting.
Indeed. Let's get another one from the left. That works. Ah, I'll be damned. Why? Why would you not be working? Yep. So what's happening is it's happening while it's off screen. This should be greater than. Yep. There we go.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I could have swore I had changed that originally, but somehow I did not. That
Yeah, maybe maybe we didn't need the for each after all. You know, maybe it was just the left ones.
That's
Didn't
possible,
seem
but
like
I
it,
don't think
though.
so. I think, yep, so now they're all working. So now the issue is the swoop happens too fast because they're back up where they started before they meet up with the player.
Right.
So that's a super easy thing to do, is to slow that down. So we're just going to slow down this to 2 seconds. And then the next thing to do is to actually set the period depending on the distance between the height of the top of the player's head and the height of the bird. That was awesome. That felt pretty good. All right. Nice. In fact, right now, like, because it's just a one size, yeah, that's nice. Okay. And then if we give them a little boost of horizontal speed while they're doing that, that'll be really nice.
Yeah.
All right. So we're just going to do some math here that we're going to flying and we're going to set the period to, which right now is 80 no matter what. So instead it's going to be the higher number will be, so right now we just need to find the difference. So the player will always be lower theoretically, unless he's up in the air, so that'll be interesting. So yeah, I almost picked vector again like an idiot. So we want y minus, we'll say 40, because his y coordinate is based on down at his feet.
Right.
And then, so we'll do that. And then we're going to subtract the y coordinate of the flying. So this will give us the difference. So that's the actual distance that it would need to travel to attack the player's head, more or less. So y, there we go. And we just need to do that there. And we're doing it to sine 2, which is what we want. Now, no matter what, in fact, we can put a test bird way the hell up here. And he should come swooping way down. Not that we would want to do that in a real level, but this is just to test the code. Test extremes. Here he comes.
Oh.
Not seeing him though, that's weird. Maybe he's just taking forever. Maybe he was off screen by the time he finished. That's interesting. Oh wow.
Oh,
That's
Whoa.
unexpected. Oh, I did period instead of... Yeah, that's the problem. It's not period. It's... I forget what it's called. Replace action, flying. I'm sure there's a lot of constructor users that are going to be yelling at this video. Like, you idiot! It's not period, it's magnitude is what we want.
Alright.
Good thing we only chose one specific task to get done tonight, because I'm clearly not not capable of doing more without...
I think you might have only set it for the left.
Oh, good.
From the left.
See? Glad you're here to babysit. Alright, yep. The cool thing is it's exactly the same, because it's only height based. I don't need to edit the formula for left or right. Alright, let's try that. Oh, ooh!
Whoa.
Alright, well, it's working. Let's see if it... Yeah. But why is that happening when they're done?
They're continuing. Which...
Why would that be? Oh, set sign, look at what an idiot. Set sign, not sign 2. So sloppy. So sloppy. Back. This is going to be the record of scream-inducing simple mistakes. Magnitude. Yeah. Done. Sign 2. There we go.
Alright.
Very easy mistakes to make. Nice. That was perfect. Look at that.
No warning.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Right. So let's do...
A little too perfect.
Okay. I want to jump. Nice. They'll actually swoop. Let's see if I can get above one.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, that's really nice. They basically instantaneously get out of it if you're above. That just accidentally works perfectly for that weird edge case. That's fantastic.
I love it.
Yeah. So all we need to do, or all I want to do, is add an event that says, well, two things: flying. And we're going to compare animation is playing Falcon dive and is not mirrored. And we're going to add another condition, and we're going to say, I'm doing this a real old-fashioned way, hard-coded, just because it's pretty idiot-proof, which I need right now. Let's see, so we're going to set its X. Oh, we're still comparing? Oh, we don't want to do that. Flying set X to flying X plus 4. Arbitrary number we can tweak later is mirrored. This should be -4. So it should be a bit of a speed boost only while they are doing the dive. I should probably exaggerate the number so it's super obvious. Hopefully the 4 pixel... Oh yeah, and it's going to be like 100 times Yeah, no, that's very noticeable. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. All right, so what I forgot to do is add another condition, and we're going to make this every so many fractions of a second to cap that speed boost. I think that's 50 times a second.
Yeah.
I think. Why are you not working? Control C, Control V. There we go. And then we can just tweak the number 4. If it's still too fast or not fast enough, we can just tweak that number 4 now.
Ooh, still pretty fast.
Still fast. Pretty nice, but a bit fast for our designers. All right, so we'll make this.
We'll save that for hard mode, I guess.
Yeah, 2. And then the other thing to do is to finally tweak that, the period of the, no, not the period.
The value.
I can't remember now. Hold on a second. There, no, it is the period. How
That's not bad when
Yeah,
they're
that feels
lower.
pretty good,
Like it seems like it's more intense when they're from above, which
yeah,
I guess
makes
that's
sense.
good.
They have to dive,
but-
dive further distance. Like one would never be that high, so they would never swoop down that fast. Yeah, that feels
Right.
really good, actually. And it made this level way harder. Nice. All right, but I think that's good. I think we got the behavior working how we want it. Yeah, one last quick little test. I'm going to try to actually start fighting them. That one doesn't count. Yep, I'm going to get used to this new behavior, that's for sure. Wow, yeah, this is tough. All right, let's see. I haven't successfully hit a single one of them out of the air yet. Oh! Where did he come from? I need the health pickup. There! I needed to be fast as hell, but I got him. Oop, boss fight. And I think there's a bug left over from last time where... that's fine. The bosses, their thing doesn't... their boomerangs don't hit us yet. That's a super easy fix, but we'll do that another time. So, yeah, we're going to have to do some gameplay tweaking and... perfect the timing, but the behavior works exactly like I want, so I think it's perfectly fine to wrap up the video. And I have a feeling there will be a lot of chipmunk mode in this video to save people some frustration. But yeah, we got it done, and it's pretty darn nice. All right, thanks as always, Corey, for babysitting and helping me get through this obviously very difficult ordeal for my tired brain, and thanks everyone for watching. Okay, so Corey and I were just talking and messing around before we stopped our Skype conversation, and I decided to test one more time to get a feel for how we could change the gameplay, and then I remembered that there's an uppercut attack by default, so suddenly those birds that were super hard to fight can just be uppercutted right out of look at that. So, which is extremely gratifying, I must say. So if you're not already in the air, you're going to have a harder time, but not too bad. But if you're on the ground, an uppercut handles them very nicely. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that, and thanks again for watching.